taking stock of all that's going on is just so essential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mentioned sororities and any clubs or
Yeah.
organizations that you're part of. If you're like me, you want to be able to give back at some point when you do have time. I'm on the community service chair for my sorority, Sigma Gamma Rho,
Okay.
and I I love it. However, it's like that was great before I had the Confident Lily and had all these other things going on, and now it's like I'm gonna have to step back a little bit. And when I can participate, when I can do service, I will,
Right.
because I do love that.
Yeah.
But like you said, just have to know the season of your
Yeah.
life and if it's appropriate for you.
And that's so funny. I'm rocking the blue and you're in the pink.
Yeah, very true. Pink is pink is one of my favorite colors, but I do love the blue and gold. Funny. Okay, so let's talk about entrepreneurial endeavors. So we are leaders. We are women that aspire to be something great, to give back in hopes that other people will receive something. So how do you make time for that? You said you're a budding entrepreneur, so obviously you're still building, and it
Yes.
takes a lot to build and become a business owner. How do you do it?
It takes so much. And yes, as you alluded to, I am definitely still learning, still growing. Like right now, I feel like I'm a sponge, just trying
Hmm.
to learn and glean as much knowledge as I can. But I think also, I also indicated I dedicated, certain days for focusing on the enlightened first lady. Um,
Hmm.
and then also, just having those people accountability partners, because it's easy to allow other stuff to kind of steer you off track, or oh, I don't have time for this today. But
Hmm.
even my husband, like, okay, you said you wanted to do this, all right, you know what, let me see the action, let me see the action.
Yeah.
So that's been helpful. But yeah, just dedicating those certain blocks of time where it's like, this is what I'm doing, I'm all in, I'm focused on building. Just
Hmm.
just thinking about, what is the end goal. Start with the end in mind. What do you envision, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, um,
Hmm.
what God's placed in your heart, that you're just like, you're ready for it. But yeah, it's a commitment. You have
It
to be
is.
with and be intentional about the time that you're dedicating to build and hone your craft. And so
Hmm.
just just identifying those days that I'm focusing on that work is helpful. And then recognizing, yeah, it might be okay after I've gotten the baby down, and I've got a 30-minute window. It's like sometimes you just have to get it in when you can too.
Yes. Yeah.
But and then also, because I will, till the midnight hour, and I'm like, man, I'm still working on this.
That's
I'm
me.
close down. But
Hmm.
just being intentional, and dedicating that space and that time, and then having those folks that are in your corner to support you so that you can dedicate that time,
Hmm.
has been really helpful in this journey so far. And like I said, I'm pretty fresh into it, but it's exciting.
Hmm.
And I'm just grateful for the opportunity, and the people that are in my corner, pushing.
Hmm. Yeah, that's when you know what you're doing is something that you're called to do, is when you have people that are there to support you, and when you are making efforts to do the work, whatever that looks like for you, and you get some sort of reward. It may not necessarily be even financial. It may just be someone saying, "Thank you so much for your help. That really enlightened me, or that really helped me." When you can get those things, it just, to me, it's confirmation that you're on the right track and you're doing the right thing. So just take your time to do it. I always remind myself that there's no rush. There's going to be so many different things that I can do, but I don't have to do it all at once. there there are, some foundational steps that you should take. If you're wanting to be an entrepreneur, you may want to consider a website. You may want to consider, getting your social media page together. But there are also resources out there that are available to you. Some may charge a fee and some may be free as well.
Yep.
But, just take the necessary steps that you need to, in moderation, and pray about it as well.
Yeah.
Because, again, if it is not your season to push and go hard, don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, don't do
Yeah.
it.
And the Lord will reveal those things to you.
He will. He will. You will become burned out. You'll hit a brick wall, all of those things. And it's just not worth it. It's just, do things in moderation and it'll all come together eventually.
Indeed. Indeed. I love
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So most women find it difficult to balance a family and do things outside of the home as well, especially when it comes to, having a social life. Um, how have you been able to do it? I know you said that you're in a sorority and you were involved in some other organizations and you kind of had to take some time off. But is there anything else that you would say that's important to think of before you start doing so many things outside of the house?
So I don't know. I think this might be the appropriate time to get. So this is literally this like dropped in my spirit about a week ago. So I come from a journalism communications background. So we like to think of stuff, very concise, very brief. And so I came up with the ABCs of living a balanced life when wearing many hats. And you kind of
Okay.
touched on one. So the A stands for absolute. So last week, I just had a laundry list of things that I wanted to accomplish, and I was starting to get, anxious about it. And Spirit was just like, you don't have to do this, and this today.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, focusing on, like you said, what is most time sensitive? Like, what is the absolute necessary things that must be accomplished today? And what can be scheduled out throughout the rest of your week or
Mm-hmm.
a couple of weeks, And so focusing on the absolutes, that helps you to prioritize all that you've got going on. And then
Mm-hmm.
is that balance, like we talked about earlier, just kind of taking stock of all that you do have going on, self-evaluating, thinking about what are the things that people in your life are saying,
Mm-hmm.
being an active listener in that way. That is that so that B is for that balance, and just being intentional about making sure that things are not lacking, not to say that
Yes.
you're not or suffering,
Mm-hmm.
And then that C is for communication. So is what has really helped me since becoming a wife and mom. So prior to while we were dating, Marcus and I, if I wanted to go, have happy hour with my colleague or my girlfriends, it was just like, hey babe, this is what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't asking permission. It was just like a check-in.
Yes. Yeah.
And then when even when, to a degree, I'm sorry, Alicia.
There you go.
Okay. Are we good? It's not.
Yes.
There we go.
We're
Okay.
just dropping so many gems that, there are just so many distractions that want to come out of it because they don't want it to be shared.
Yeah. Yeah, that communication though is so key, and that's why I'm saying. That's why I was saying, when we talk about being an active listener and those cues that your spouse or your child might be even saying, like when they can really articulate, they might,
Mm-hmm.
Mom, I need some more us time.
Very true.
So it
Mm-hmm.
that communication going both ways is critical. Not just you talking and saying, and this is what it's going to be, and this is what I'm going
Yeah.
to do, but it's just it's taking stock of all that you've got, or all the things you have to consider.
Mm-hmm.
because when you do become, you know, a spouse or a parent, it isn't just about you anymore. While you do have to take care of yourself and practice that self-care,
Mm-hmm.
there are other people's lives that are intertwined now that you have
Right. Exactly.
about nurturing. Yeah.
Yes. And I always say, this is the life that I signed up for. I didn't have to make these choices to do all these extra things, but this is what I wanted to do. So now I have to find a way to fit it all in. And if I can't, some things have to go by the wayside for a moment. Doesn't mean forever. And that's important too when as we grow and we mature or we go through different seasons, sometimes we'll look back and we'll say, well, I always wanted to do this. I'm really good at baking and I always wanted to have my own cake shop. But I never pursued it because I got married or I went back to school for this. So realizing that you still have that interest, you still have that hobby, you're still keeping up on your skills, realizing that all is not lost. You can still pursue that. You may not do it at full time at the moment, or maybe, sometime in the near future, you might be able to do that. But don't lose sight on those things that make you happy because that's important that we're, fulfilling ourselves and being our true, authentic selves. So we're not doing a bunch of things to just stay busy or a bunch of things because others want us to do it, but that we're also doing some things that make us feel good as well.
Yes, I love that. Another thing, another momism is delay doesn't mean denial. And just
Yes.
because it did not happen in that season doesn't mean it's never going to happen for you, or it's never going to be the right time to pursue, that hobby, that goal. And I love that. Like I mean, life is too short not to be involved in the things that spark joy for us.
Right. Mm-hmm.
There's too much going on all around us. I know people's hearts are still heavy with everything that transpired over the weekend, and
Mm-hmm.
to be intentional about what we're putting into our spirits and what we're taking part in to make sure those things are uplifting, and
Mm-hmm.
bringing light into our lives. Because yeah, there's so much darkness and out there, and so we just have to, of course, stay connected to the story and
Yes.
into those things that that spark joy for sure.
Yes, definitely. So, along those lines, what do you do for self-care? How important is that to make sure that you're finding some time to put that in your schedule?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a self-care queen, but I definitely am intentional about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and communicating, I've got a massage planned on
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, so Marcus already knows he's got to hold it down. So I mean, even and just my sisters and I were just talking about this. What on Sunday? It doesn't even have to be long, drawn out things. It could just be
Mm-hmm.
going for a walk, just stepping outside. Take this is something my older sister loves to do. She just likes to go outside barefoot in the grass and just like feel grounded and just
Mm-hmm.
one moment to just kind of slow it down, feel
Mm-hmm.
your feet. Like you'd be surprised what that can do for like your spirit, your mental psyche.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be, long 30-minute or massage or pedicure because those things are awesome. But just taking a moment, like even if you're working a desk job like I do, I'm like
Mm-hmm.
I've been just what is that like that GIF with the mouse and it's just going or the cat and just going to town on the keyboard. I'm like, no, I need to step away. I need to get some fresh air. I need to get some sunlight.
Yes.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
self care.
It
And
is. Mm-hmm.
but I love a good massage.
Mm-hmm.
I like to journal. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a big music person, so and I have a very eclectic taste. So it doesn't. My younger sister calls me a human jukebox because like anything that comes on the radio, I more like 9 times out of 10 will know that song. And so doing those things that just make me happy and communicating about when I need to take some time
Mm-hmm.
out.
Mm-hmm.
But
Very
yeah,
important.
runs the gamut. But I mean, exercise. I know some people
Hmm.
love hate relationship with it,
Yes.
but um,
But it does help, and it's scientific that it helps.
so I just
Hmm.
my Peloton. I don't have to bike now. I'm not even gonna front like I have to bike. I have an app though,
Okay.
and it's awesome. So yeah, just doing those things again. That just take a minute for you to just recenter and just let a little light in. So
Hmm. Yes, I love that.
what
So,
what your
oh, for
go?
my self-care, so I love the massage, of course. I posted about that last week, I think it was. I was blessed to be able to have a hot stone massage and a pedicure. And you can find some inexpensive ways to do that, like on Groupon. So yes. So I did that. And that's not something I do often, but I do like to do, some of the girly things like get my hair done, nails, eyebrows, those kinds of things to make me feel good internally.
Yes,
But, my everyday self care is simple, just like yours, where you talked about just getting up and walking around, getting some fresh air. My everyday self care is listening to some type of motivational speaker, maybe do, something on my podcast. So I'm listening to inspirational ministers or speakers, or even mental health professionals on my podcast, because for me it's all about refueling the mind and the spirit as well, because those are the things for me that get weak. And so if our mind is weak, if we're just physically tired and we just don't feel like pushing on, we're
yeah,
not going to be able to do all these things that we put on our list. So for me, I like to start my day with it, even throughout the day. I will listen to something. I listen to Audible as well, and so I've got some books there. And so I'll take time where I'm cleaning the house and I'll just have something playing on Audible. And that's my time. That's
yeah,
my time to myself. Nobody's really bothering me. I love quiet time. It's just that's just something that just helps me to have that woosah moment, to exhale everything that happened from the day and to recenter myself.
yes. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
awesome. And I just a little point of personal privilege. I see my mother-in-law is watching. I shouted you out earlier.
Hey.
All the for the donut.
Yes, you're famous. Nice. So let's just quickly talk about, anything else that you may be adding to your plate. Do you have anything exciting that you're working on or that you hope to work on in the future?
Well, thank you. That's a great question. So, with the Enlightened First Lady, my goals with the company is not only to share my story but also to elevate the stories of other pastors' wives and leading ladies, whether it's in their career or in their home life. And so what I'm working on now is I'm trying to figure out if I want to do it in more of like a YouTube show or a true podcast, but I'm starting to interview other pastors' wives to
Hmm.
just hear their stories, their challenges,
Mm.
their rewards, and just again just reshape the stereotype or the narrative.
Hmm.
One way to be a pastor's wife or to lead or to be a female entrepreneur, because everyone's journey is so different, and
Hmm.
we just have different gifts and graces that we bring to our daily lives and the roles that we're in. And so I'm really excited. Like I said, I already taped one, and so now it's like working out on the back end stuff. But yeah, I'm
Hmm.
to launch that, and I'm hoping to get some apparel. And
Nice.
yeah, so exciting.
Yeah.
And it's just like we're talking about, just taking the time, but also not beating myself up
Hmm.
when it doesn't happen like this. So
Yes, exactly. Yep. That's good stuff. So for me, of course, I've got the She Exudes virtual talks going on every other week. And so I'm loving that because it is fueling my spirit. I'm learning things. I'm networking with other women and getting their message out as well. So, I'm just like, just floored that I've been able to do it consistently. Will I
Right.
always do it? Who knows? But, it's something that's been a great resource. So thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate it. And I enjoy this little partnership that we formed as well.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
definitely
ladies, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
say again, just in closing, that I just really appreciate the opportunity to yeah, just engage and connect and
Hmm.
encourage. Have definitely already encouraged me, and I just look forward to our continued partnership because we're all in this together.
Yes. I love it. Thank you. And I was just going to say, I also have a devotional. It's called She Exudes, which is part of where we got the name for this virtual talks. So it is a confidence awakening devotional and journal.
Mm,
So 25 scriptures about how to be prosperous, building confidence, and how to be more faithful. So it really does go over different things and different seasons that you may be experiencing in life. And one of them deals with when you have all of these things going on and you feel like you're being attacked. How do you deal with it?
mm,
And, mindset, because that is critical on being able to push through and balance all the things that you have to do.
right.
So, ladies, if you are interested in that, or even fellas, if you have a special woman in your life, I think that you should definitely click on the link in my bio for that, because it will definitely help to kind of create some of this balance and help to center people. I love to journal. I love devotionals. And if they're cute too, that's an added bonus for me. I have to stop myself when I'm in the store because I'll want to pick up something.
Moderation, Alicia.
Moderation. Everything is about balance and moderation. Well, thank you so much, Cara. I really have enjoyed talking to you, and I hope that you all have been able to get something out of it today. Definitely contact us, meet us in the DMs if you have any questions or you need some advice on how to wear all those multiple hats and provide some balance in your life. We can definitely help you out with that. So, you all have a great night and we'll see you soon.
Right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.